to next year. Then there was a merger between Fox and Marvel. People were like, are we still even gonna get that movie no one's thinking about or talking about right now? Of course we're still gonna get it, and now we have a trailer, finally. Let's just address it. It does kind of look like X-Men The Last Stand, right? I mean, other than the fact that it doesn't particularly look like a Last Stand. There's no cure for mutants, but in terms of the Phoenix story, it looks very similar. And I'm of two minds on this trailer, I really am. I'm literally torn in half. One part of me feels like this looks familiar as shit. I've seen this before. This is the same Phoenix arc that was in X-Men The Last Stand. The other part of me wants to say, well, it is a compelling idea that Charles Xavier repressed a part of Jean and now it's boiling to the surface and he has to deal with the sins of the past. So I want to cross my fingers and say maybe they're promising they'll do the arc better this time. And yeah, there is a scene in this movie, you see a jet go up into space and you see fire so Jean could get the Phoenix power there from space. So it's not like the Phoenix is the part of her mind that's locked away, but that's just gonna make her angrier and then bad decision making. Point is though, Jean's bad decision making seems to be the result of Charles Xavier fucking with her mind, and that's what X-Men The Last Stand had, and it just freaks me out. Because that was the advantageous part of this whole remakeable thing, right? You can go ahead and undo some of the fuckery that happened with X-Men. What screams undo like doing the same thing again? And you could make the argument it's still Charles Xavier. In X-Men 3, Charles Xavier said he did something to Jean's mind, so we have to see him do that thing. However, counterexample, it's also in a timeline where Charles Xavier and Magneto met Jean when they both looked 60, and Xavier wasn't paralyzed yet, so whatever. But the fact that the director said this does deal with extraterrestrials in here, it looks like maybe they're doing it right. Maybe they just chose not to show it in the trailer because they didn't want to spoil something in the trailer. Moving on though, Magneto's bad again. Magneto, man, in every movie. No, Charles, I'm good. And now I'm evil. That's the arc, right? Magneto's gonna start this movie off as not a bad guy, then he's gonna turn bad. Because that's the arc from like First Class on. Magneto, you one-note fuck. All right, Magneto's pretty rad. I'm just saying, they should probably do something else. At the end of Apocalypse, when he was good, and everyone was like, well, good Magneto? I don't know if someone out there had to have been like, that shit's not gonna stick, you know it. The relationship between Charles Xavier and Eric Lencher, it's like Ross and Rachel. Or some CW romance. They are, they aren't, they are, they aren't. It's like, come on, pick a side. Fuck or break up. I do pity the guy though. In about 10 years time, he's gonna go from this to this. No disrespect to Sir Ian McKellen, but this movie takes place in the 90s, right? X-Men came out in 2000. That's what, a few years? 10 max? Don't smoke, kids. Jessica Chastain's in it as a blonde. I wonder if they were like, all right, we're gonna dye your hair blonde because we don't want any weird internet rumors out there about time travel and that's future Jean or whatever. And it's the internet, it'll happen. Someone dies, I see suits, I see funerals. Who is it? Let's do a head count. Someone out there could probably piece it together from this trailer. It looks like it could be entertaining, but honestly, this movie, it's not on my radar. It was on my radar at the beginning of this year, and then it got pushed back. I was like, okay, well, I got other things to look at now. I got other things to worry about. Then it's like, oh yeah, X-Men. God, that makeup does get better every day I look at it, though. In the words of those punks in the first Ninja Turtles movie that were gonna jump April O'Neil outside her van, bad timing. So that's my take on the Dark Phoenix trailer. Big part of me thought I've seen a lot of these arcs before. I feel like I've already seen Magneto's flip-floppy arc. I feel like I've already seen people give Charles Xavier the I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed eye for something he did to Jean's mind in the past in the way of repressing something. But there's another part of me that thinks if you concentrate on what Charles Xavier did, how it affects him, how it affects Jean, make it emotional between them and don't have Jean just off him in a house, we could have ourselves a better version of that Phoenix Saga, but I can't help but look at this Phoenix Saga and think X-Men The Last Stand. That's just not a feeling I wanted to walk away from this trailer with. Alright, so the trailer to Dark Phoenix, have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.